It's episode 27 of This Week in Grip. We've got special guest Riccardo Magni telling us about the competition from this past weekend. We're catching up on everything that we've missed over the last few weeks. We'll be covering all this and more on This Week in Grip. Everybody, this is Napalm here. Got Alan on the line, and we are here in episode 27 of This Week in Grip. We got some cool stuff coming your way. As you heard, we'll be talking with Riccardo Magni, who will be calling in. We're going to be talking to him about everything that went down at the contest this past weekend. And where was that? Was that San Jose, Alan?
I thought that was the Anaheim FedEx Bowl.
Anaheim. Yeah, I think you're right, brother. Before we get too far into everything, of course, just want to remind everybody to use the hashtag #ThisWeekInGrip. And you're doing a fine job of that. I see the number has gone up a little bit. Please give the video a like. That'll help out the video and help it get put in front of more people's faces. Leave a comment, share, tell everybody about Grip Sport, because the first rule of Grip Sport is you tell everyone about Grip Sport. Alan, what's going on, man? How you been over the week? Give me a little news, dude. What's the latest?
Oh, I've been doing pretty good. Just about to start a deload. It's about time for a little bit of time off. Kind of got this hamstring thing going on, but other than that, things haven't been too bad. So, how about things with you?
Pretty good. Gearing up for Luke's wedding this weekend, so that's going to be quite awesome. I understand.
Well, it's this weekend already.
Yes, sir. Hopefully, on Wednesday, the suits are all finally finished. I think we first went up there in like May or April even in order to get the fittings, and we've been up there like 3 times since, and they just can't get it right. So hopefully on Wednesday, we're ready to go styling and profiling. I didn't rent the suit. I actually bought it. It's the first one I've owned since I was in high school. I don't know if I still have that suit or what. I probably should ask my parents. But I got this really sweet red inside layer of cloth inside of there. I don't know what it's called, but it's like totally one of a kind suit. Even has a tag on the inside that says Napalm, man. It's gotta be sweet.
Nice. Did you have them make the arms a little extra big just in case August of Arms pays off for you?
Well, that's funny you brought that up because we also, as part of the deal, we bought a brand new shirt. And, man, the first one that I put on, I don't know what the size was. It was just too tight. It wasn't going to work. So we went the next size up. And I'm like, yeah, I got some room in there. So that was like probably 8 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. And now, dude, I'll tell you, I tried it on last week, maybe last Thursday or something like that, maybe last Tuesday. Whoo, man, it's getting a little tight in there. So I'm thinking I might be right there at 20 inches now, cold. I really do. They're
nice.
They're really, yeah. I think I'm seeing some like, when I bend down to wash my hands or something like that, I can usually see part of the sink underneath me, but now, like, my biceps are almost touching one another like 2 giant white coconuts. So now I can't see, it's catching in my eyes. I'm walking, when I try to go through a doorway, like I've got like these 2 scratch marks, these 2 rub marks on my medial heads of lateral heads of my triceps from brush burning through all these doorways around here, bro. Getting to be a little hazardous just walking through my home. So we might have to widen these doors a little bit, especially with Yoketober coming here in a little bit, man.
Right. I was actually thinking about Yoketober.
Yeah, dude. It's just going to keep on expanding. So yeah, the August of Arms training is going well, and may need to buy another brand new custom shirt here sometime soon and have that tailored. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see, my man.
Yeah.
Hey, I saw something cool that I wanted to, this is kind of the next step of getting to know Alan here. So I saw something, and I'll just read it. And I, unfortunately, like a very poor journalist, broadcast journalist that I am, I did not write down who wrote this. But we're going to roll with it anyway. So this person was in the Strongman Archaeology group, James Fuller's group on Facebook, and he said, picked up my first duplex kettlebells today. They've been in the shed for over 30 years. Before that, they were in a display case at a gym. Didn't come home to waste, and I'm pretty sure they have the wrong wood handles on them. Nonetheless, I'm happy playing with them, even loaded the one with pancake plates to 100 pounds. The guy knew their value but was fair with me, probably giving up buying out for a few months. So it may have actually been James Fuller that posted that. I can't remember, unfortunately. But I was just curious, Alan, if you have any equipment in your training collection that is of, vintage or any old-time stuff or anything like that you have that's like a collector's interest or anything like that, bro.
Probably not what that would necessarily be a collector's interest. I guess I think probably the oldest thing I have, it's kind of it's an unbranded globe dumbbell. I'm actually just picking it up in my hand right now. It's a 20-pounder, but it's quite old. No knurling on the handle or anything like that. The handle's rather ergonomic, actually, I would say, like what we see on some of the new ones, rather than a straight handle. It's got that kind of taper to it. Yeah, but that's it. I mean, I've got some old school York deep dishes and things like that, but that'd about be the extent of it.
Okay, I see. Yeah, I don't really have anything either. I used to have this old vintage hand gripper, and I donated that to Joe Musselwhite's museum. I have some deep dish plates and stuff like that. Maybe the only thing that I have is I rescued a globe dumbbell from the scrapyard, actually. I got it for, next to nothing. I couldn't say no. I got that, and I got a couple of 25-pound Roberts dumbbells, and they kind of have that tapered handle to them as well. They're not like globe dumbbells. They're more like Advil pill style dumbbells. They're pretty cool.
Oh, sure. Yeah, yep, like that bun style or whatever I think they call them. I can't remember if that's the right term or not. Yep.
Yeah. So I guess that's about it. I can't think of anything else that's like old school, real vintage stuff. But I didn't know if we'd ever talked about that, man. So I wanted to see. I didn't know if you did any of the collecting like Mighty Joe does and James Fuller does and stuff like that. So
no, my stuff's pretty modern, unfortunately. So yep. I just finally added the 150-pound Selene bell to my collection. So getting closer on that one. Yep.
Good.
So I got the 100, 125, 150, and well, my 172 is from a different person, but nonetheless, just about a full set. So,
awesome, man. Congratulations.
Yep.
And the other thing I wanted to say was, once again, a shout out to Gil Goodman, who's dealing with some medical issues right now. I heard from him that he is getting a little bit better, and that's clearing up. But then I also heard that had some rough news. One of his and Maria's dogs ended up passing away this past week. So that's a shame, and very, very sorry to hear that. Also, I don't know if you saw that Big J Smith, is that his name? It might, for some reason, Jay, the big guy.
Yes. It sounded like he blew a quadricep tendon.
Yeah, dude. He was trying to turn back the clocks 20 years and try to jam a basketball home off of one dribble, and the dude just ruptured something in there, dude. I felt bad for him, man.
Yeah, I can't imagine a guy that big flying through the air to dunk a basketball. To tell you the truth, that's a really hard one to get a hold of. But yeah, no, that's a crummy injury. I saw the pictures. So yeah, it looks like hopefully he'll snap right back from it. So, but
right.
Well, I actually wanted to mention about John McCarter. He's also hit a little bit of bad luck. Sounds like he's and you know as well as I do how bad it sucks when you get a back injury. So it sounds like he's got one of the worst ones. So unfortunately, that's put his competition on hold. Till sometime probably next year. But so anyway, I just wanted to say a get well to John. I've been there. It's a long, scary road. There's almost seemingly no light at the end of the tunnel sometimes with that stuff. You just got to sort of wait things out and let the healthcare people do their job on it. That's no real way to expedite things there. So. Yeah,
it's true, man. Hey, I'm right there with you. There's been some scary times, even just last October. So I honestly thought I might have been done, but I gave it time, like you just said, and took care of myself and took it easy and was able to come back. So I know that John can experience the same thing as well. So we'll be thinking of him. Thanks for bringing that up, buddy. Cool, man. What have you seen? What have you seen online, dude? What are some of the headlines from the last week, brother?
All right. Well, so a little bit of news from the grip board. It looks like we've got a new Mass Monster 1. I don't know if you saw. Bader successfully closed it. It was a thorough domination. Looked easy for him. Nice solid overcrush. He even turned around right after that and requested Mass Monster 2. So I don't think he's going to have any issue with it at all. And that goes without saying. He's been on a bit of a roll. He's even got a feed up for judging right now. Blob 50 clean and press, and that looked like nothing. So he's been sandbagging a little bit. He's kind of unloading a bunch of things on us all at once here. So I know he's done MM0 for quite a while, and now this. So yep. He's been just kind of laying in the weeds. So.
Well, he's a very busy businessman. He's had a lot of things going on in the last couple of years, I'd say. So it may have been just time where he was able to really focus on some training instead of all the business endeavors that he has going on. So maybe it's something like that. So maybe we need to keep an eye on this guy. And that, you know what, Alan, that leads me to that reminds me about something, dude. I kind of brought something up last week and never really gave the big reveal about it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you had some news coming up.
Yeah, man. I was actually contacted by Bader himself, and he has invited me to Dubai I'll be leaving September 6th and coming back on September 13th. Going to be doing a whole bunch of training. Some consulting about setting up grip contests. He'd like to start them. He has lots of really amazing ideas, so that trip is all planned. He invited me out. He set up all of the flight schedule, the hotel stay, all that stuff. He's got all kinds of things planned, and it's going to be an amazing trip. I'm very, very thankful to be a part of it, and that will be September 6th through 13th, so there will be some time where you may not hear too much from me because I'll be abroad. But we'll see what we can do. Maybe we can still do This Week in Grip online or something. We'll have to see.
Yeah, boy, that's going to be a lot of fun, I bet. Yeah, that'll be really exciting.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even wait for it, dude. It's going to be incredible. I'll miss the family viciously, but it's really, really quite an opportunity to go over and see that part of the country, that part of the world. And I've seen pictures of the country. It's just amazing. All the pictures come up that Yuha and Yvonne were posting last year or the year before when they went over. It was just incredible. So it's really, really exciting. Going to be a big highlight of this year. There's no doubt about it. So thank you to him for inviting me.
He really does a lot for grip that a lot of people don't know about with those things, between what he donates to contests and and even getting, Yuha over here for a contest and you going over there. He really participates, for a guy we don't hear a lot from, in other areas. So yeah,
right.
that's real nice of him.
Yeah, I think I'll have to find out how exactly he got, how he became aware of grip. I would assume maybe through, but yeah, he's been involved for several years. I don't remember the first time that I began interacting with him, but I mean several years he's been doing stuff. He's been amassing this huge collection of grip equipment. I've seen lots of pictures and in the background of videos. There's lots of stuff all over his gym, and like you said, it sounds like a lot of stuff's really been coming together for him in his training because of some of the videos and feats that he's posted. So yeah, it's really, really nice to see it going down.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear the trip report of that one.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be taking notes. None of this going by memory stuff. Speaking of Yuha, I saw that he has been in the gym a few times after dealing with some of his health concerns that he's had. So that was really cool.
Yeah, I caught like a bit of a deadlift video or something from him, I think. So that was about the last I had seen. So it's good that he's back at it, feeling a little better.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. What else? What else have you seen, Alan?
All right. Did you catch? I see Tim Butler got a hold of the other half of the 110 hex that I have, and he made it look like an easy lift. He posted that on the grip board. I also saw it on I think it came through on Instagram even. Quite the.
Oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he must have some pretty good size hands because he looks like he gets a pretty good purchase on that thing. But he picked it up like it was nothing.
Cool.
So, yeah, I got a ways to go to hit that one. But yeah, nice.
Now, who did that came from? Sean Capusta? Do I remember that correctly?
Yes. Yep. He's been unloading some of his grip gear as of late. So some people have had a chance to pick up some of these things. So.
But he's also successful scopes on my Facebook wall. He got me today. I put up a post with my daughter going to the first day of school, and sure enough, he slips a scope in there. Got me like stared right at it, and I think I even looked straight through the circle in his hand and started examining the concrete below. So it was straight up ball gazer on that one, bro. Really, really bad. Really got me. But as they say, paybacks are a bitch, and he'll get his. So
yeah. See, I got a bit of a nomination for Feet of the Week here. This was actually something Joe Musselwhite had posted on Facebook. I don't know if you caught this or not, but this was from a guy named Mikhail Savin. And
I think I know what you're talking about. Go ahead, Alan.
Where he had basically, it looked like he took 5 decks of cards, pulled them all out of the package, added a few in, and effectively did a feat of tearing 200 cards.
Wow. Yeah.
In one block.
I thought that might have been what you were talking about. But yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was amazing. Yep. And they started to kind of, get a little sloppy, as you'd expect when something like that was going on. But boy, just quite the feat. I mean, that's just amazing. I can't imagine just the strength. I've never even heard of that guy before. So
no, I haven't either. Yeah.
What his background is, but yeah, that was. I can imagine how fast he'd blow through a regular deck. I mean, it didn't take him long to get through 200.
That's awesome. Do you know what kind of cards they were?
No, they weren't familiar to me. They seemed kind of. That as I glanced at it, the decks almost looked a little thinner than what we're accustomed to seeing. And in Joe Musselwhite's notation there, in some of the in his the comment section, it sounded like the deck, they only contained like 36 cards or something like that. So he started with X amount and then put in an additional amount to get him up to the 200.
Yeah.
So it falls in line with what we're dealing with over here. So. So yes, quite amazing. But no idea. They didn't look like they weren't like a bicycle or anything like that. Whatever their equivalent is over there, probably. So amazing feat nonetheless.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Yeah. You know what? It could be like a special game. Like one of the decks that I used to buy a lot was like the Old Maid cards or like Go Fish cards and there's only like maybe 35 cards in that kind of a deck. There's like a rules card and then all the cards for the pairs and stuff. So maybe it could have been something like that. I didn't see the video, so I don't know. But those cards are good to train on because a lot of times they're really, really cheap. They might only be like 50 cents a box. So if you want to work up to 52, you can just like cut part of them out of another deck. So that's pretty cool, though, man. Regardless, that's a lot of cards to tear all at once. I mean, going by memory, I know there's been lots of dudes that have torn 2 decks at a time, but I honestly can't think of anybody that I can remember that tore 3 decks at a time. My old partner, Magni, was in the middle of tearing 3 decks of bees, I think, at one time at a gym up in Johnson City or New York. We were cheering him on, man. We were videoing inside this commercial gym, and we were getting really loud, and he had a crack the whole way through all 3 decks. And then the owner or like a manager came over, said we were being too loud and we weren't video cameras doing, and kicked us out. So right in the middle of a world-class feat of grip strength, we got kicked out of a gym.
Jeez. They probably don't let you have chalk or anything in there, I suppose, huh?
Yeah, man. We weren't. So we talked to like some new guy or something. We talked to some new guy out. We got him to let us go in there. So I think he might have even gotten like reamed out by the boss when we left because we weren't supposed to have chalk, but we went in there with it anyway. So yeah, dude. Speaking of Joe Musselwhite, he's still got that lecture that he's doing, that little seminar on September 16th from 11 to 3 at Randy Dela Cruz's gym. I'm trying to find out where it is here.
Yeah, we had mentioned that. He provided a little bit of additional information, it sounded like, on his Facebook page there. So that was in Fort Worth, I believe.
Yeah, there you go, Fort Worth. Yep. And he's done a really good job with promoting that. Each day or every couple of days, he'll come out with announcements of new sponsors and stuff like that. So.
And he highlights them quite well too. Yeah. Everybody gets their due on that.
Yeah. So it looks like it's going to be really cool. He's going to be featuring a lot of different equipment, and Joe knows what he's talking about with training. He's going to bring up some concepts that people probably haven't heard before. So he's got the whole outline on his page. So if you Joe, just go on the wall, and you'll see exactly everything that he's going to be covering. He's got a pretty cool little logo for it too. Mighty Joe's Grip Training Center. You're only as strong as your grip. With that, everybody enjoys it.
One thing with Joe Musselwhite, we never talked about this yet, that I can recall anyway, but he came out with the Musselwhite stones. You seen those? That was probably from a stones from a while back. He made his own version of the Denny stones.
What? I do that. When was that?
Yeah. This was quite a while. Let's see if I can find this on here. This is something I wanted to bring up, and we got, between SJ4 and everything else. Yeah, so here I am back in July 23rd. I'll read his post here. It says, here's 4 pics of the Musselwhite stones completed. The larger stone on the left weighs 340 pounds. The smaller stone on the right weighs 228 pounds, with handles, eye bolts, and shackles. Total weight of both stones equals 568 pounds. When attempting to lift the stones together, the rings used are 6-inch by 5/8 inch. It says I have additional ring for my, let's see here, waiting for this to load up. Additional ring for my Musselwhite challenge stone to be used on a larger stone and lifted with one arm. Hope you like the finished product, my grip and strength friend. So, yeah, he came out with his own one. It looked like he went to he had posted something previously where he had sourced the stones. And, yes, and that was on the 22nd where it looked like he went to a lawn sales place, or like a landscaping place, and picked out a couple of great big honking, look like quarry stones basically. And, sank a couple anchors in them and got some rings on it. So those are the Musselwhite stones. So that ought to be something neat for people to seek out around here and try to lift.
Yeah, man, that is pretty cool, dude.
That's real clever.
Really nice.
Yeah, they are. I'm glad to see somebody took the initiative on that. You know, I wouldn't try to carry those into his house and put them in his grip museum, but they look pretty good there on the lawn. But yeah, nonetheless, though, I mean, that's just begging for somebody to be the first. You know, for the Brian Hunsackers out there, and well, Jedd Johnsons, everybody, you name it. Go give those bad boys a shot.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, man. How did I not see this? These are really cool.
Yeah, I noted it a while ago, and like I said, we got you know, kind of with everything else that was going on, we're just finally getting caught up on some of these things. So I wanted to put those out there because that deserves some credit. those are works of art.
They did some nice work on those, man. Whatever those implements are, those eye bolts, and however they're attached on there, that's like really cool, man. Wow. Nice job.
Gets the gears running. kind of makes you want to have a couple of those in your backyard, you know.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's stones all over the countryside out through here, you know. I bet Luke knows how to attach those fixtures to those stones too. I bet he knows exactly how to do it. He knows how to do everything else, man. Cool.
Make for a fun Saturday.
Yeah, for sure. So let me ask you this, dude. The last time we talked, it was like the day before the eclipse. So did you go out there and check things out when the eclipse took place, bro?
I did, yeah. While it was going on, as a matter of fact. So I was working over at a job site in Minnesota, and I heard it was going on. Well, it's a new school I was working at, so they've got this nice welding lab set up. So I actually went down and grabbed one of their welding helmets, like what you had discussed, and used it and put it on. It was one of those automatic ones. It was already set to the highest intensity, and looked up at it, and it was really something. I could see it, no problem. I didn't burn my eyeballs out. So yeah, it was neat to see. It was probably about a third of the way over when I had looked, and then I had to get back to the things that I was doing, so I missed the rest of it. But we didn't have any moment of darkness or anything like that. You know, it just kind of, we didn't get the complete thing like some other areas did. But really neat nonetheless. It was great having it.
Alan, what'd you say there? We didn't get, and then it blinked out. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we didn't have the I think, you know, some other places it might have had more like a total darkness thing going on. I don't know what all they had exactly, if it totally, you know, covered the sun, or how that worked in some other areas. But I remember when I was a kid, for example, you know, there was it was a lot darker than it was. I couldn't even really tell anything was going on otherwise.
Yeah. Without having the welding shield on, you wouldn't even know anything was going on. I even took some pictures of lawn like well before the eclipse took place, and then I took some during the eclipse, and there was like no difference. So let me ask you this, Alan: were you ever able to look up there and actually see the moon? Not like the black spot on the sun, but did you ever see the moon near the sun, the actual moon itself?
No, I didn't. When I had taken an official look, it was already starting to move over in front of the sun, so I didn't see it creeping up on it or anything like that. No. Yeah,
we were really, really cloudy here in Pennsylvania, and I was kind of upset because I really wanted to take a look and like really soak everything in, but there were some times when you'd look up there and you wouldn't even know where the sun was. So, and I never saw it either. So, yeah, well, that's cool. I'm glad you got a chance to look at it, and I did end up using the welding mask, and it was fantastic, and JC got to look at it, and I even took the thing down to the daycare and let some of the teachers look at it, so that was
nice.
Pretty cool. Yeah, and then I'll tell you, Alan, I don't know if you heard the sound, but we have been visited now by someone on the West Coast, and this gentleman has been very active in grip sport the last few years. And if you're following him on Instagram, you know that every time he hits one of those PRs, he hits one of those monster fist pumps, and it's Riccardo Magni. Riccardo, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Jed and Alan. Thanks. Good. Thanks for letting me take part in the episode today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you just came off the competition yesterday. Tell us what that competition was, who ran it, where was it, all that stuff.
Okay, so it was the 2017 Anaheim Fit Expo. It was Ode Haugen's Vice Grip Viking Arm Lifting Challenge. It was a 2-day contest, Saturday and Sunday, down there in Anaheim at the Fit Expo. Very high-level competition. A lot of really, really good guys at this one. So
who else was there?
Well, let's see. Brian Hunsaker was there. Eric Hussein from Canada was there. Carl Meyerskow, you may not be familiar with him yet, but you will be. He's 6'10", 356 pounds. I mean, I look like an elementary school child next to him in the picture there. I'm 6'3", and I only weighed 236 at the contest on Saturday for the weigh-in. So he's 120 pounds more than me. So like an average female, glued to me.
Different.
That's Carl. Yeah.
Wow.
And he's England's national record holder in the shot put. He's competed in multiple Olympics and world champions. So he's not just some big stiff. The dude is extremely athletic and very, very strong.
Wow.
A guy named John Eklund, a former training partner of Ode, was there. Ode competed only in the Rolling Thunder because he's got some hip problems. Martins Lisis from World's Strongest Man. I don't want to be a spoiler for those of you who haven't seen this year's episodes yet, but let's just say he improved on his 5th place finish from last year. He competed 3.5 weeks after pec surgery with his left hand. So he couldn't do the axle, but he still scored very well just with his left hand on 4 of the 5 events. I mean, he took maximum points on the axle because obviously he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And then John Matchnick from, he's also from California. He's a very underrated, soft-spoken guy who's got a heck of a grip. And Michael Thomas, otherwise known as Gresham Gripper, on the internet, he was there. He just ran Oregon's Strongest Hands sometime over the summer. I think it was in June. Was there. So you've got quite a number of people. There were some strong men from the contest who also took part in the grip. Some of them were brand new, and I don't think they had trained on some of the implements, and unfortunately for them, they had a little bit of a rude awakening on some of the implements, I think. And then there were a couple of the lightweight Moz wrestlers that competed. One guy notably named Romark Weiss. He's actually Ode's neighbor, among other things. But he's been to the Moz Wrestling World Championships. Wow. He's quite good for his body weight. I want to say he weighs 170 pounds, and he deadlifted, I think, 308 on the axle, weighing 170
pounds.
Really
good.
Yeah, and he's not a tall guy. I don't know how big Romark's hands are, but they're not very big. So this was a very high-level contest. Very good competitors. It was a lot of fun.
Really cool. Really cool, man. So why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit, Riccardo? You know, what's your background and how long have you been doing grip and things along those lines? Give us some highlights, bro.
Well, the highlights. Well, I have come a long way. So I started out in high school as a skinny kid who played basketball and baseball. And then I went to a college in Pennsylvania, not near you, but in Philadelphia, called Haverford College, a small Division III college there. And I played basketball for 2 years, and then I started doing track and field. And then in track and field, that's when I started lifting and started kind of filling out. I wound up gaining 100 pounds and going from 170 to 270. And becoming an all-conference shot put and discus thrower in our conference there. And then after college, I moved out to California. I'm a high school science teacher and also a university professor out here. And, I've been training ever since. And so grip for me, as far as full-time, is fairly new. I've competed in track and field for quite some time, Highland Games, strongman, powerlifting, and finally navigated my way to grip at Ode's recommendation, and it's been the match for me. It's been fantastic.
Sweet, dude. Sweet. That's awesome. What would you say is like your favorite type of grip training that you do?
Well, it's not blobs, Jed, and I don't want to hurt your feelings. It's not blobs. My favorite grip training, I think it depends. As you're aware, I have had some success on the hub. I really like thick bar, though. Even though I'm not a superstar at that yet, I'm knocking on the door of kind of cracking the code on thick bar, and it's coming quickly. I really do like thick bar, even though I'm not like Andrew Derniat or something like that at thick bar. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm foreseeing some vast improvements in the short term.
Cool.
What else do I like? The pinch is not my favorite, although I'm decent at it. The stub is, I like blobs more than the stub, let's put it that way. Yeah, the stub is not my favorite. I like doing all the events. Alan has noted a few times on the show that I've heard that I do like a variety of implements, which for me is critical because I get bored easily. So I like to rotate things around, mix it up, do different things. I do have a background of being fairly athletic, so I tend to stall out quickly if I do the same thing every week. So, I like, obviously I've had some success in powerlifting, and so obviously, and I have a physique that lends itself very well to deadlifting. So at 6'3", I have a 6'7" arm span. So I have very long arms. Not good for benching, but very good for pulling. And since grip sport and arm lifting in particular is all about pulling stuff off the floor, I have a good physique for that. Yeah,
man. It's really big quads, dude. You got some serious leg size on you. Your legs are almost as big as mine, bro.
Well, I'm working on it. I'll see. I'll see if I can catch up to you on that one.
Yeah, you couldn't keep a straight face on that one. Okay.
Awesome. No, I tried. I'm sorry. I failed on that. So I realize I might not get invited back on the show, but I'll do better on the next one.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, good getting to know you here just a little bit. What kind of questions do you have for Ricardo? You always have real good questions.
Well, yeah. So, I hadn't seen anything in your Instagram training or anything like that to indicate that you were going to be headed to the Anaheim thing. So you kind of, with your training, I know you spend a lot of time on thick bar, and I've seen a lot of hub out of you. Do you normally stay kind of contest ready for some of these things? And is that the type of contest you like, going to those fit expos?
Well, okay, so can I handle that first? So,
sure.
So I do like to compete. I have my son is almost a teenager. He'll be a teenager in 6 weeks. So basically I have a 16-year-old who's almost 17, a 14-year-old that's almost 15, and a 12-year-old that's almost 13. And these kids are involved in a million sports. So I have to get my competition schedule around their competition schedule. And then obviously we clear the calendar when there's a big one like a Fit Expo or a King Kong or something, and then obviously we have other people, help out. So, but yeah, I definitely like to compete. And this is one thing I think the viewers at home need to understand when they go to a big contest like a Fit Expo, and I really wish we could get more people to come, and I know it's really expensive. I live in California. I live 4 hours away from Anaheim. So for me, it's easy. You get in the car, you navigate through Los Angeles, you pay your dues with the traffic, and then you get to Anaheim, and then you compete. I realize a lot of other people have, much greater travel, more expense, and I totally understand that. But at these kind of contests, you're competing against these world-class people. It really can bring the best performance out of you if you're ready. And I wish we could get more people, from the East and Midwest to come out to some of these.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I like to stay contest ready. Yeah, and obviously all the ones in California, God willing, if I'm healthy and I can go, I'll go to every single one in California simply because it's not that far away, right? I can drive there.
Sure. Okay. How do you compare? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that's kind of my attitude with contests in like New York, New England, New Jersey.
Of course.
All those areas are so close. It's like even if I haven't been training specifically for those competitions, I always make sure to get there. Ohio's a little bit further away than some of those areas, so
right.
Like if there's a competition going on there that I haven't trained for, I might not go to it. But I see what you're saying. Like you want to stay dedicated to your region, and like when there's something going on there, you want to support that. So that's really good. That's really good, man.
Well, and the other thing is, there's a ton of strong guys out here. I mean, anytime Ode is involved, I mean, he has strong people. It doesn't matter. Sometimes even at some of those little meets that he had earlier in the summer that I posted, I mean, at one point I was the seventh biggest guy, in the 230s. I mean, he gets these 300-pounders routinely out of nowhere. Like, where does he find these guys? And they're gigantic, but he is like a magnet for these guys. And some of them stick around for a long time. Some of them come and go, but there's anytime Ode's involved, it's always going to be a quality presentation, and there's going to be strong people there, including him.
Yeah, man. For sure. I'm sorry to hear he's having hip problems again, dude. I know that's hindered him off and on throughout the years.
He got one of the hips replaced, and my hypothesis is now that he's got one really good one, he's 67, the other one is probably, taking a beating throughout the years, and he needs another one. I'm not his medical doctor, but that would be my inclination to think now that he's got one good one and one regular one, he probably needs two artificial hips.
Right.
So, yeah.
Go ahead, Alan. I was stepping on you earlier. I'm sorry about that, dude. Don't.
Oh no, that's all right. I was just curious if you could kind of describe sort of the atmosphere at these contests, because I've only ever been to the smaller ones, with the exception of SJ4, which was a bigger one, but nothing along the lines of the Fit Expos.
Well, the atmosphere is fantastic because literally there are thousands of people walking around, and the announcing is great. There's a stage. I only did day one of my video so far. If you look on YouTube, you can watch. I did one for Eric already where I showed all of Eric's lifts. I'm going to not post mine until I have yesterday's lifts on there too, and quite frankly, I'm going to see if I can do it tonight, and if I can, I'll do it tomorrow, and it'll be up Wednesday or maybe late Tuesday night California time. But there are, hundreds, sometimes thousands of people actually watching, and that's not an exaggeration, watching the event. So that part is super cool. And some of the newer people get a little bit of stage fright. I mean, I've done it many times now, so for me it doesn't matter. But I think what some of the people don't realize at home is, when you see me in the garage getting fired up and, I can put whatever song I want, I can go whenever I want. These contests, sometimes it's like hurry up and wait. You got to, because there's strongman in between or Maz wrestling. Sometimes there's an injury, like unfortunately yesterday a guy tore his biceps, so then there was a delay in the Maz wrestling. So then we kind of started warming up, then we stopped. It's to put in PR performances at the big shows. It's not an accident. You have to be physically and mentally ready, and I think that's one of the things that I'm really excited about how I did this weekend, is because in the 5 events I had 4 PRs, and one was my other event was my second best performance ever in a contest, and I was very close to winning the whole thing. So if I had set the number 4 bullet, and it's an if I was able to set the number 4, I would have won the thing. And I can tell you, I have 2 number 4 grippers. I've done it once in training with the silver bullet on a 206. On my 217 number 4, which is a pretty stout number 4, I would say, by any stretch of the imagination, I couldn't quite get it in practice. I tried twice. I couldn't quite get it. And the one that came out of the package was harder than that.
Wow.
So, it was a brick, man. This thing, it wouldn't go. So I quickly abandoned that. You'll see that on the video. Once I realized I couldn't get it, I quickly abandoned that. And then more or less, I mean, within 15 seconds or 20 seconds, then I had to do the number 3. and I got 21.50 on the number 3. I mean, literally right after the number 4 attempt, which is less than optimal, but it was a calculated gamble because I knew if I could do the number 4, I would win that event. So I had to try it. You just don't know what's going to come out of the package. So
was no one able to set the bullet in the 4?
No. So by my count, and I could be off, I'm certainly not the grip mastermind. I try to be, but I think there's about 9 or 10 guys, of course, you're one of them, I'm one of them, that have already done it in training or in contests. John Eklund, who's also done the number 4, he did it for about 1 or 2 seconds at the LA Fit Expo. He was there, and it appeared that he struggled with setting it more than I did. I don't know because I don't know how much he's been training, and I don't want to comment on anyone else's performances, but he was unable to set it as well. No one else even attempted it. So,
well, if that's like a 220 number 4, I mean, there's not a lot of people that are going to be able to set that. That is correct. That's a huge gripper. That's a huge.
It was very difficult. It was very difficult.
I want to say I had like a 220 number 4 that Paul Knight let me borrow for a while, and I don't think I was ever successfully able to get the bullet actually clenched into it. I could kind of rattle the sides if it tilted a little bit, but I couldn't get it into position. There's no way.
I was about 3 millimeters away, and then it just hit the wall, and I didn't want to fight it. I just let it go. I knew at that point I did not have the horsepower to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Again, for me, it's a calculated gamble because if it was one that I could do, I win the event. And then the way the scoring played out, I would have won the whole contest. So as it was, I got 3rd in the contest, which was pretty remarkable considering who I was against. I was very, very, very happy with my performance.
Yeah, well, heck yeah, man. I mean, that goes to show how it is to train such a wide variety of implements because, if you say you're going to specialize on 3 or 4 implements and none of them are silver bullet, you might not be able to get 20 seconds plus on number 3. So it's a good thing that you keep that sprinkled in there.
I train silver bullet twice a week regardless because I think that's an event that is turning into one of my strongest events, and regardless, I train that one twice a week. Whether it's, like, even though we got King Kong coming up, which will be my next event, I will continue to train silver bullet twice a week just so that by the time Los Angeles comes around, we'll see if I can seal the deal with the number 4 in the contest. So I'm assuming, I don't know the events, but I'm assuming that's always in the Ode contest. So I'm assuming the silver bullet will be in there.
Right. What is the crowd reaction out there when there's something going on like the silver bullet? Because that's a very intense type of event. I mean, I'd imagine some people are growling and snarling and salivating on themselves.
The silver bullet's a fan favorite. That's one of the favorites because, to be honest, and I love Rolling Thunder, but, at some point it's a pile of pancakes, and it's hard to tell the difference between a 100-kilo pull and an 80-kilo pull. I mean, we all know the difference of it, but for the average person sitting there, it's kind of a tough one. Yeah, the stack of pancakes looks a little higher, but, Ode uses, calibrated bumper plates, so they're different colors, so that kind of adds a little bit to the mix, as opposed to just standard metal plates, which make it harder to kind of visualize what the difference is. Like once you get 3 reds on there, we know that's 8 kilos or whatever. But the bullet, I mean, people are yelling and screaming, and they want to see they're waiting for the thing to drop. I mean, it's definitely a fan favorite for sure.
Cool, man. That's good. That's good that the crowd, gets into it and they understand what's going on, at least with that event.
Well, depending on the expo, Ode's current announcer is a guy named John Eccles, who's a really nice guy, who's a Masters Highland Games thrower, and he's done quite a nice job announcing. And then at the big ones, usually at LA Fit Expo and San Jose Fit Expo, but they didn't have one, San Jose one this year, John Anderson, the professional strongman, he comes, and he's a heck of a guy, and he's a heck of an MC too, and he really knows how to get the crowd pumping.
Right.
He's
he is
really
a nice
good at getting
guy.
the crowd fired up.
Yeah, I've met him a couple times at the Arnold, and he is really personable, and
he's fantastic.
He's cool to do.
He looks, because he looks like a cartoon character because his muscles are so big. I mean, he looks like, like he'd be unapproachable, but, I mean, he'd give you the shirt off his back. It probably won't fit you, but he'd give it to you. I mean, he's a fantastic guy. Great guy.
He'd probably swim in it, but he'll give it.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, there you go. So, no, he's a great guy.
Cool, man. What else?
And I trained with him. A training session with him is.
Oh, really?
You better be ready, or you're going to be vomiting very quickly.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He does high rep training, high lactic acid, high heart rate. I mean, he does the opposite of everything that I do, and it's not particularly pleasurable. But John has been able to get many, fantastic results for himself and for many others. But it is. I hope you didn't eat breakfast before you came, because you're going to see it. It's brutal.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, that would be interesting, man. That would be something else. I've heard about the intensity of his workouts. So
yeah. So what else do you guys want to know from the contest? What else do you guys want to know?
Alan? I actually thought it was interesting what you said about the Silver Bullet being a fan favorite, because that's one of the discussions that comes up on the grip board once in a while is actually with regards to grippers and ways to improve, grip sport and get more people excited about it. Because some people have remarked that seeing people, I know it's not quite the same, but seeing people close grippers, for example, doesn't have any excitement. And people are almost implying the opposite, where it was more interesting to see things like the axle deadlift and stuff like that. So is that your assessment there? Is that the Silver Bullet?
Yeah, I would have to agree some level with that, Alan. I mean, look, let's say we had a rack of grippers, okay? And you have me up there, and I've closed the number 3 on occasion, not with a credit card set, although I did try to certify on Saturday for fun. A bunch of us did, and none of us made it. And it's funny, the luck of the draw. The one that we went to certify on was considerably harder than the one that was in the Silver Bullet. If we had done the one from the Bullet, I kind of think 3 of us might be on the Iron Mind website right now.
Wow.
Brian was the closest by far. He was about 3 millimeters away, even on the harder gripper. He's a strong dude.
Yeah.
But Eric and I also tried, and neither one of us was successful. But I think, let's say I'm closing a 140-pound gripper and Jedd's closing a 160, 170-pound gripper. They look like the same thing, right? Especially if you're 20 feet away, you can't tell the difference. However, if Jedd, what I think would be really cool would be head-to-head Silver Bullet. Like, let's say Jedd and I are both up there with the numbers. No, they'd have to be more or less the same gripper. And if you did it as a package, again, it might be not the same. I'm not going to argue whether they're the same or not. I don't want to get into that debate. But you guys know where I'm going with that. But my point is, let's say Jedd and I are both up there holding a Silver Bullet. We started at the same time, 2 separate referees, 2 separate stopwatches. That would be fun to watch right there.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great idea.
I'd be screaming. I'd be in your face, pal. I'd be in your face. I'd be poking you in the chest, bro. I'd be reverse knife edge chopping you. You better, dude. You better believe it.
Yeah, great.
You're not cheating. You're not trying hard enough, bro.
Yeah.
That's what Ric Flair told me.
Yeah. Well, anyway, my point is, that is exciting. Watching someone do a big deadlift, I mean, people are like, well, can he pick it up? And especially with the axle, it's not like powerlifting where a lot of the deadlifts are a little bit faster. With the axle, it's a little more of a slow process, and so an average fan can kind of, is he going to hang on? Is he going to drop it? I mean, I think there's a little more to it there. The axle was a good one, and I think the hub and the pinch block, because the way O does the contest with the last man standing, it does get exciting because people just start getting cut, right? After a certain weight, they start getting cut. Like in the hub, after 50 pounds, I mean, the people who have never practiced it, I mean, they're all gone, right? They're gone at the hub. And then 60 is another cut point, right? So then more people are gone. So, and there's also some strategy. Do you pass? Do you go? Do you know what the other guy can lift? I mean, so there is some strategy there as far as passing, or do you take every single attempt? Everyone's different. So the last man standing format, I think, is excellent, especially if the weight jumps are appropriate, right? So if you have appropriate weight jumps, there's not many ties, and then you really find out who the strongest person is, which in my opinion, there's been a lot of debate on the grip board about should we do axle or this or that. And again, I don't want to get into that kind of thing, but I started lifting weights to get big and strong, because before I started, I wasn't very strong. I was very weak. And so I've done a pretty good job of improving my strength. And I still continue to do this because I want to get stronger. And I think to me, that's the name of the game. And so that's one other reason why I like to go to Ode's contests, because at the end of the day, usually the strongest guys come out on top. And when you have 5 events like this, the other thing is, and I think this is kind of why I seem to do well, is I think you have to be very balanced. You can't have a weak event. And I certainly didn't have any weak events at this thing. So if you have weak events, you're going to get bypassed by people that don't.
Sure.
So.
Okay. No doubt about that.
Neat. Yeah, no, that was neat feedback. I liked hearing that about what you said with the grippers. That was just a little different than what some other people were thinking. So it's good to hear that side of it.
Well, so a lot of and I'm not trying to be negative to people who love to shut grippers. I mean, it's a fun activity, but if you're watching there from 20 feet away, I can't tell if you have a number 1 or a number 5 gripper. I mean, you can't even tell, right?
Sure, sure.
It's and you got to realize that people in the crowd there, they're 20, 30, 40, 50 feet away. They're not directly next to you. It's not like we're all in Jed's garage doing it. It's or my garage. It's a different venue. It's spread out. It's this gigantic convention center hall, which luckily, Alan, no one needed to repair the heating or air conditioning during that event there, because it was pretty hot in Anaheim this weekend. So I know you're into as I listen, I know you're big on repairing things there. Thank God we didn't need to call you, because it would have been a disaster if the air conditioning wasn't on in there.
I can imagine. Well, I tell you, next time, I know they have one of these in Chicago. I think I'm going to have to find at least get down there to see it, because that sounds like quite a spectacle.
Well,
I had no idea it was like that. So, you know what? I'll have to think about that. I tell you, in the past, I look at some of the weights that I just don't have that in me at this point. It's just a matter of me getting stronger.
Here's the deal: Ode has been getting more flexible at lowering the opening weights to encourage more new people to participate. And I think it's very simple, and if you need me to, act as a go-between to introduce you, Chicago has been one of the least attended expos. To be honest, for me, there's only a limited amount of money I can spend on traveling all over the place, and until I get someone, like he's going to have one in Fort Lauderdale, I would love to go to that one, because, again, the Hub is one of the events, and Excalibur, and those are 2 very strong events for me. But I at this point with my budget, my wife and I are both high school teachers. We're not millionaires. I'm not going to be going to Fort Lauderdale, even though it would be fun. I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Florida for a few days? But it's I'm going to save up, because I think I would like to go back to Russia. I feel like I have some unfinished business from when I was there this time. I didn't make a big deal of it, but I did have a partially torn pulley tendon in my right ring finger when I went to Russia. I didn't want to make excuses. I didn't do as well as I would have liked. I still placed, I did well, but it wasn't 100% Riccardo. Next year, they're going to see it's going to be a different person going over there. That's for sure.
That's cool, man. I like to hear you say that. And so is your finger feeling better these days?
100%. 1,000%. It's bad. I wouldn't be able to do it with a number 4 bullet. See, he's even attempted if my finger wasn't 100%. So that and the Hub have been the 2 big tests as far as strength. I didn't even train the Hub very much because I needed to focus more on the pinch block. To be honest, I'm not a master of the pinch block, but I'll tell you this. Before this meet, I didn't train the pinch block much. My PR in practice so July 9th was my last contest at Ode's, that arm lifting challenge. So my PR on the pinch block on July 9th was 65 pounds. I made 77 yesterday, and I had a good attempt at 82. So in 7 weeks, I put more than 5 kilos on the blockbuster pinch block. And for me, I not my favorite implement. Like I would much prefer the Flask or the Euro to that blockbuster block. For some reason, I don't dig that thing. I think just the way it hangs, it's a weird angle for me. I would much rather start from the floor like the Saxon bar, which is more or less the same dimensions. than the blockbuster block. Because my arms are long, it just is an odd position for me to start the lift. It's a little bit odd.
Right. I hear you there. Yeah, it is weird. That's interesting. I feel the same way.
Yeah, and I tell you what, John Matchnick almost broke the world record on that thing yesterday. He made a beautiful lift at 97, and he tried 105. I don't remember what the decimal we loaded it to. I think it was 105.6. And he got off the ground a little bit. And again, that's the last event after 2 days. He does that fresh, he breaks the world record from Thomas from Norway. Sorry, Thomas, if you're listening, but he does it fresh, he breaks the record. But after the end of 2 days, 97 is ridiculous. I mean, put it this way, I did 77 and I got 7th.
Yeah.
That's how good the field was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's at the end of the 2 days. I mean, and I was delighted. I mean, I said 2 PRs in a meet, 72 and 77. I had a nice tug on 82. Wasn't quite there. But I knew going into yesterday I needed a PR in the hub and and hopefully win, and I needed a PR in the pinch block in order to make the podium to have any chance. And I PR'd in both. So I was very happy with that.
Sweet, man. Sounds like it was a great weekend for you. That's awesome.
Well, I will tell you this, so from July 9th except the 3 days leading up to the meet, I trained every single day but 3 on grip. From July 9th to August 25th or whatever. I rested for 3 full days prior to the meet. I mean, and some days I did 2 sessions. Some days I did 3 sessions. I'm kind of in the zone right now. I'm going to be honest, this is going to sound totally ridiculous, but I train before school, and then if I have time after school, now that school started, I get another session in. But some days I spring out of bed at 4:30 ready to train. Take the dogs for a walk, and then we're training. I'm not even joking. I don't even need an alarm clock. I just fly out of bed and I'm ready to go. Dogs, let's do it. It's time.
That's awesome, dude. Damn, making me want to go down and train right now. Jeez.
No kidding. I wish I could do that stuff every day like that. Yeah,
well,
that's
amazing.
You know
what? I mean, so I trained this morning. I slept in till 5:07. I gave myself a break this morning. But I went down and I did some and I posted one lift today. It wasn't super heavy, but I did a little over 250 pounds thumbless on the orange fat grips for a deadlift. And then I did some 2.5-inch crusher because I've already got my King Kong plans laid out. So
cool. And where are you going to compete in King Kong at?
At Brian's house in Utah.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think California has the momentum for it right now, and I'm not at a point, like I said, I'm so busy with my kids and all their sports and actually teaching, and I'm not at a point where I can organize it right now. I just don't feel like it would be fair for me to organize it. I don't think I can put 100% into that, given that I'm stretched with all the other stuff with my family commitments. Otherwise, I would try to organize it here in California. So I'm going to go to Brian's and compete with Utah, and why not? The dude's one of the strongest guys on the earth. Let me compete against him. That's going to be fantastic.
Right.
Plus, he's a phenomenal guy. He's a great guy. He's just such a good friend. So, that'll be the deal. So I'm hoping that we hit some massive numbers up there, and I got news for everyone. I'm very optimistic that I'm going to improve on my 18th place finish from last year. So
cool, man.
Yeah, my goal is top 10. So, and I have no problem going. I might not make it, but that's my goal is top 10, and I know it's going to take some huge lifts because I'm expecting, everyone to pick up their game. Jedd, of course. I know you're going to be there. I know now Norway's got one, so you got Thomas, and I don't know if Eirik is competing or if he's not. I saw him doing some skateboarding tricks on Instagram today. So
skateboarding, yeah.
Dude, better him than me. I cannot do that. So that is not something I've ever done. But
he had the backwards ball cap on and everything, bro.
Oh, he was ready. You would have thought he was in L.A. doing that, not in Norway. But he's ready to go. So so we'll see, Jedd. I know you're going to be in the top 10. So Cody, Gil. A couple of the Finns will be there. This is going to be no joke. To make the top 10, it is I'm sure Brian is going to do his best. I mean, everyone's going to have to up their game this year. This thing is going to be ridiculous. Erik, how do I leave out Erik? I mean, So, and who else knows that there'll be some other monsters. This new Jesse Pinonian from Finland, I probably butchered the poor guy's last name. That guy's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Arto is another guy. I mean,
yeah, dude, freaks. They're all over.
They're all exactly. They're literally all over the world. But I'm looking forward to it. 8 weeks. Get out the calendar. Alan, you're hosting one, right?
I am. Yep. Looking forward to it. Should be a lot of fun. So hopefully we get a better turnout.
I know you're hosting one. I mean, so
yes.
Yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. Well, guys, do you have any more questions for me? I got about 5 more minutes, and then I gotta unfortunately move on to the next thing.
Well, I was wondering if you tuned in for the fight over the weekend, if you had time to do that during the course of the grip contest.
You know, I didn't, and I'll tell you why. There were opportunities for me to watch it, but I was not 100% happy with where not with how I did, but just in general. I was a little disappointed with a couple things there from the contest, and I just went back in my room to reflect on what I needed to do to come out Sunday to take care of business. And so I just kind of a bunch of us went out to dinner, which was fantastic. And then I just went back to the room and just kind of relaxed a little bit and tried to focus on what I needed to do. So
Gotcha.
And to be honest, it worked. So I needed to make sure that I was in a positive frame of mind and that I was, to be honest, I watched some footage of this. I told you actually on the text message there, Alan, this will be news to you, but prior to the meet Saturday morning, I was listening to the latest episode to get fired up. I wanted to hear about other people doing stuff stronger than me so I could get fired up before the meet. So I actually was listening to you guys, I'm not even joking, in the hotel room prior to the contest.
Awesome.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. Appreciate hearing that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have fun doing this, don't we, Alan? It's nice having somebody on here like Ricardo, dude. You've been very entertaining as a guest, Ricardo. You're a great speaker.
Thank you.
It makes me want to go sit in on one of your high school classes. Might keep me from falling asleep when I hear about history.
Well,
no kidding.
We would just put a gripper on your desk, and I know that would keep you awake at the very least. If I couldn't, we would stick a gripper nearby, and that would keep you going. So, yeah. If you didn't pay attention, maybe I'd keep you in at lunch detention and make you work on the stub. So
okay.
As a punishment, you'd have to do some reps. You have to do some reps with the stub as a punishment. So
dude. But you got to do 3 consecutive holds for time till your finger falls off.
I'd probably get fired. That would not be good.
Corporal punishment there.
I would love to be on again. I had a blast. Thank you guys for inviting me. I really appreciate it. Anytime you guys, you guys know how to get a hold of me. It was fantastic. I had a lot of fun.
All right. Thanks a lot, Ricardo. Much appreciated.
Yeah. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Good talking to you.
All right. You too. Bye-bye.
What a great guy, Alan.
Yeah. That went real good. I liked hearing his insight. That was really interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. It's time for Raw, dude. I could probably check out too, but why don't we cover one more feat from the top of the list so we start whittling away at these dudes. They just keep growing and growing.
Yeah.
Did we cover Zolt Horniak with the Czar of all bastards bend? I can't remember.
Oh no, I hadn't. I've seen some of his stuff come through on YouTube, but nothing lately. So sure about that.
Andrew specifically said congrats to Zolt Horniak on being the first to cert on the Tsar of all bastards, TSAR of all bastards, a 25 64-inch cold gold steel bar, a truly epic bend. Awesome.
Nice.
And then John Beatty, who was the first owner of FBBC, says, just goes to prove, even if you put it out there as a bit of a joke, they will find a way to get it done.
Nice.
So he must have been the originator of that. He must have still been at the helm when that was created. So that's pretty cool, man.
Yep.
And then Brian McShane from BMAX Strength, a couple more cert bars with FBBC. Big Duke of all bastards, big shiny bastard, and huge golden bastard. So congratulations to him. Back to you, Alan.
Nice. Well, yeah, one that I just wanted to make sure got mentioned. I don't know if you saw this, but Pat Maisels had a 341-pound half-inch rebar pull. He posted that on Instagram. It looked like a kind of a bent piece of rebar and almost pulled through like a loading pin, But he did this with his 3-week-old daughter strapped to the front of his chest.
Which
I thought just gave me one of those dad moments. I just thought that's amazing.
Yeah.
So he should be recognized for that. Good for him. The only other person I've seen do something like that is Elizabeth Horn. So
correct. Yep.
Good for him. I love seeing that stuff.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah. Hey, I got one. I want to make sure to run this by you, Alan, so that you got this one covered. You got to get on Instagram. You got to look up Snordskog, SNORDSKOG. One more time. That's Snordskog, SNORDSKOG, and her name is Sunniva Nordskog. So she's if I have it down here correctly, she's closed a 1.5 and competed at the European Grip Championship.
Nice. Yeah, I just requested to follow her.
Cool.
So she's from Norway. Yep. Cool.
Yeah, buddy. That's been on there for a while, so I don't know how long, but one that I've been meaning to let you know about her. You got anything else? You got anything else to cover, Alan?
No. I guess I think I'm pretty well caught up here. So.
Okay. Cool. Well, awesome. Glad to get back on the horn with you, dude, and glad you didn't burn your eyes out from the eclipse. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from you again. I don't know what my schedule will be, Alan, because Sunday of next weekend, I've got that State Fair grip challenge up at Syracuse, New York, the New York Great State Fair. So I will be tied up. Yeah, so definitely Sunday won't be able to do a call. And then Saturday I'll be tied up at the wedding. So I don't know how that's going to go driving up to Syracuse after watching Luke get married. But we will make it happen because you got to get out there. Hey, first rule of grip sport, dude. You got to tell everyone about grip sport. So I got to go out there and talk to these 100,000-plus people going through the state. No excuses, brother.
Yep. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Well, that's it for episode 27 of This Week in Grip. It was great having Ricardo on. Everybody make sure you like the video and subscribe if you haven't. Keep on with the hashtag of This Week in Grip. We're already up to, looks like 439 posts now.
Wow.
And, getting a lot of them on there, a lot of good stuff, a lot of regular contributors. So, well, thanks, Jed. This was fun, and I guess we'll be back in a week or so with another one. See you then.